Matt McLean was the best hitter in the area codes this year. He was our second baseman. I said, Matt, you're a pretty good hitter. He was dominating. Yeah, I said, Matt, you want to be a big leaguer? He said, yeah, I want to be a big leaguer. I said, you need to hit every night where someone tries to strike you out every night. Like that's what Mickey Mantle did every night. His dad tried to strike him out with a tennis ball. He says, Coach Nate, I already do that. He says, my dad tries to strike me out every night at 9 o'clock. I go, oh, there's no secret why you're the best hitter in the area code games. The recipe for greatness is the highest number of repetitions, predictable and unpredictable. The Americans aren't even on the map. They're not even in the game. And that's a problem. So going back to what we have to do is we have to live the game. And if we don't live the game, we're not going to compete at a high level. I mean, if you really think about it, how many guys do you know? I know probably 20,000 guys that played in the minor leagues and probably 2% got to AA and 0.5% made a living in the big leagues. So you go, okay, so in America, we're not developing big leaguers. We're developing A-ballers. So it's complete player development. And then we teach, test, train, develop, teach, test, train, develop, all 5 tools. And the biggest part is testing them and then grading them. Continually test every 3 months. So if you know that your run tool is a 6'9" right now and you're an average runner, and I go, do you want to be an average runner? Do you think you're going to get out of A-ball playing middle infield as an average runner? And you have an average arm and you're an average defender, you're going to get out of A-ball? Well, you're going to look at me in the eye and say, no. And I'm going to say, okay, well, what do you do Saturday morning? What do you do Saturday afternoon? What do you do Friday after practice? What do you do Friday morning? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What are you doing before school? And you go, well, sleeping. Well, yeah, while you sleep, I eat. See, it's time to eat. I'm hungry. Let me just tell you something. There's 5 physical tools. And when you get graded, it's not your batting average that I grade you in. I'm just telling you, I'm going to grade your physical tools. And you want to be a pro. If you grade average or below average in your physical tools, you're not going to be a draft guy. And if I'm not getting better every day, literally, it doesn't matter if I'm in AA or if I'm in 8th grade. If I'm not getting better every day and focusing on the 5 tools, then I'm probably not going to be playing this game very long. So the Dominicans every day, 5 tools. They're the only country I've ever seen in my life that focuses on 5 tools. Every single day they run fast in the sand or up a mountain every day. And you go, interesting. Why are they so fast? It's not because they're Dominican, right? It has nothing to do with eating coconuts, literally. It has to do with running fast, often with intent. They play catch 360 days out of the year. And they have the healthiest arms you can imagine because they don't play 17-game travel ball tournaments where you blow out your arm and you have to play 7 positions and you run out of pitchers. And then you don't play catch all week because your arm's sore. Then you got another tournament the next weekend. So we're in this recipe of destruction. They're in this recipe of flourishing as they get older. If I want to be a great guitar player, I can't play twice a week for 10 minutes. I play 8 hours a day for 7 days a week. And that's what the Dominican does with his glove. He throws the ball off the wall, plays pickle, plays long toss, plays catch, gets ground balls, just throws the ball off a staircase. The ball's coming back, plays pepper. And he's doing it not necessarily just because he feels like he's working. He's doing it because he lives it. He loves it. So the guitar player that literally loves to play the guitar, he becomes the best guitar player. Not because he's from Spain or he's from France or he's from LA. It's because of what he did. His work, his commitment to, to loving what he does.
If I were a high school strength coach, I would try to start with like my 7th and 8th graders if I could. If I had any way to get my hands on them and teach them, they would not even touch a dumbbell, a barbell, anything. We would teach movements.
There's such an overkill right now on lessons, and I have two pitching coaches. I've got a lesson on this night with this hitting coach, and then I go somewhere else and do a lesson with him. If these kids, honestly, at the youth level, middle school, high school level, would cut half of their lessons out and use the other half of that time in training, they would see much, much, much better results. Because the strength side, everything that you gain from strength training, from speed training, from learning how to jump, learning how to move correctly, is going to benefit you on the baseball field. Whereas the baseball field doesn't necessarily make you into a better athlete. We're building the foundation to raise the skills that you're doing on the baseball field. But if all you're doing is lessons and pitching, throwing a bullpen every 3 days with a different pitching coach, that doesn't necessarily build that motor. We want to build the motor so that you have speed down the track. If you don't build the motor, you're not going to get faster. You're not going to get stronger. You're not going to get the gains that you want to see in a baseball field. So that's
the fight today between all of us as coaches is how far can we go to get a tough culture without being reprimanded from soft people, from a soft society. Because kids today believe correction is criticism. That's the first root of it, is that they believe when you correct me, you've criticized me. And then they'll fold like a tulip when you criticize them. Kids haven't changed. Let me tell you what's changed is what we demand from kids. If it's a working model, then why is 48% of Major League Baseball for a foreign country? They don't come in from select baseball. They don't come in from getting big rings. I'm going to tell you what they come in from. They come in from throwdown. And the day that Cuban throws down against my grandkid, he loses. Why? Because he's got him a ring. That Cuban don't have no ring, man. At Puerto Rico. You seen those guys play in the World Baseball Classic? The energy and the passion they play with? Man, that's coming from the love of throwdown. From throwdown.
They don't need to let this game, any failure, or the game of baseball be your identity. I don't think the good Lord's going to be up there with a radar gun and a stopwatch and some plyo boxes to see what kind of athlete they are. I don't think he's going to say, I don't think you can get in. You got 10-run ruled by Texas State. I think he's going to want to know what you've done with your life. And so our biggest challenge to him is not to let the sport become their identity, because when they leave here, when the game's over, when the sport's over for Demo, now his identity will be gone if he's linked it to baseball.
Success is way harder to manage than failure, because people believe that when you do good, now I've earned the right to do less, and that's not the thing. You've got to understand that with success, you earn the right to do more.
They're not going to cut Michael Jordan open one day or a Navy SEAL and go, there it is, man. I knew it. He's got an extra gene. People that have courage don't have no extra gene, and no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up? I mean, that's the question. I want my players to be able to stand up when it's time to stand up and not just sit down. I still want them to flip the tractor tire. I still want them to try to get a Major League Baseball contract. Heck, we're ranked 6th in the country right now. I care about baseball. I really do. But I'm not going to use them to win.
In the book of Mark, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he tells them, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul, forfeit his soul? So I think about that when I think about how much time we're spending with our kids focused on baseball. And I don't think it's a bad thing to focus on baseball, but I do think we ought to challenge ourselves as parents and as coaches to figure out ways to redeem that time that we're spending on the baseball field. So many hours per week, per weekend on the baseball field. How can we redeem that? Just like what Jesus says here. What does it profit a man? What does it profit one of our kids if he becomes the greatest baseball player in the history of the world, and in so doing loses his soul? Spends all of his time focused on baseball and misses the big picture, misses what God has us here for. I'm going to ask you to throw a perfect strike. I'm going to set a catcher up. He's going to hold his glove, and I'm going to point to a spot in his glove that I want you to hit. All right? Every single time, I want you to throw 3 pitches, and I want to see if you can hit that spot every time. Do you think you can do it?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's give it a try. It's this seam in this glove. Kenson, did you hit the red seam?
No.
You had 3 tries. How many times did you hit it?
0.
So we're gonna miss the mark. Just like pitchers miss the mark all game long, right? If you throw 50% balls, that's a pretty typical game for a 9-year-old, right? Half your pitches are balls, half your pitches are strikes. Half the time you're missing the mark. And in life, we're also missing the mark every single day. And if we didn't have Jesus, if we didn't have the hope that we do in Jesus, that he died for us while we were still sinners to take our sin from us and take the punishment for us so that we could live forever with him in heaven, that would be a bummer. But we have so much hope in Jesus because while we were still sinners, he died for us.
And remember this, man, in closing, what will you say when God asks you to give your account of your stewardship and your discipleship? He's going to cross your path one day. He says, Tony, I sent you 600 boys, over 600 boys. What'd you do with them? Did you talk to them about me? Did you expose them to me? I don't think I'm going to be able to tell him, G. Let me tell you something, man. I got 1,000 wins, man. I'm the winningest coach in UL's history. I've been to Omaha. I really don't think that's the answer he's looking for. I really don't. But he's going to ask me, what did you do with those 600 boys? Did you help them become servant leaders? Did you teach them what a real man is? I don't think I can say, God, I swear I made one throw a better slider. I don't think that's the answer he's looking for. Okay? Remember this, if you remember one thing today. A good coach makes a boy a better baseball player. A great coach makes a boy a better man. Be a great coach. Thank you. God bless you.